Hi everyone, my name is HaYung Kim and I'm here at Access Alliance at the College Kitchen today, and I'm here to show you how to make some Korean kimchi today. I'm going to be showing you two different types of kimchi. Both of them are super similar, so don't worry. There is like one or two extra steps, but basically we're going to be making oi kimchi, which is cucumber kimchi, and kakdugi, which is kind of like a typically radish kimchi, but we're gonna put a little spin on it and make it out of carrots today. So we're gonna start off with the carrots, the carrot recipe right here. So what you wanna do after you've washed the carrots, of course, is you're just going to cut off the top part right here. There we are, cut off the end. There we go. And you're just gonna wanna make these into sort of bite-sized pieces. So what I like to do is I like to cut in the middle right here. Cut it once on top, right in half. Do the same right here. Perfect. And then I'm gonna cut it in half right here. There we go. What I would say is just about an inch each, so they're like little bite-sized pieces. There we go. Perfect. I'm gonna throw them in the bowl right here. So now kind of the hardest part is done. Next up, we're just gonna be adding some ingredients in. So first thing you wanna do is you wanna grab a tablespoon of pickling salt. Make sure, like, I would recommend using pickling salt over just regular iodized salt, just because the color might change later on. But it's not gonna affect the taste too much, so if you don't have it, don't worry. But if you wanted to, make sure your pickling ingredients look pretty till the end, pickling salt is the way to go. So you're just gonna grab a tablespoon of that, right in, perfect. And then next up, you're gonna add a tablespoon of sugar. There we go. 1 tablespoon of sugar. And then once that's done, you're just gonna mix it up. So make sure you get it everywhere. And for the carrots, you're gonna wanna leave this mixture in for about 30 minutes. And what kind of the salt and sugar does is that it's gonna slowly take out the water. So after 30 minutes, you should get like this much water at the bottom. Don't throw all of that water out. We are gonna need some of it later on. So I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. And that's what it's going to look like. Perfect. And just leave it aside for around 30 minutes. So 30 minutes have passed, and now we have our carrots kind of drained. You can see the water that's been pooling at the very bottom. There we are. We're not going to need all of that water, so I would say just drain about half that amount. Yep. Ooh, be careful not to lose any carrots. There we go. And now we're going to add some of our sauces. The most important sauce, I would say, or sauce or powder or condiment, is going to be the gochugaru, or the Korean chili powder. I'm going to say that you cannot substitute this for anything else. So that means no paprika, no, Loblaws chili powder. You need to get a Korean brand chili powder, or gochugaru. Otherwise, you're not going to get the same color, and you're most definitely not going to get the same flavor. So just head over to Galleria or H Mart or Koreatown and just grab one of these, and you'll be all set to go. So typically in Korean cooking, when it comes to gochugaru, like, there's no set ingredient. We're just pretty much like, put however much you want. I typically like it spicier, so I would normally put in half a cup, but I think for those who are just trying this recipe out for the first time, I would recommend just putting 1/4 of a cup in. So we're gonna do that. So that's 1/4 of the chili powder that we're going to put in. Awesome. And then we're gonna add 2 cloves of garlic. There we go. So once you've got it to like a decent minced size, you can just throw it in there. Perfect. All right. And then afterwards, you're just gonna need some soy sauce. We're choosing soy sauce because we want to make this recipe accessible to everyone. So those who are vegan, this is for you. If you don't want to use soy sauce, or if you want to go like super original, Korean, or in my mom's recipe, we use fish sauce, or we use something called 새우젓, which is kind of like tiny shrimps. So whatever is in your kitchen, whatever floats your boat. So we're just going to add 2 tablespoons. There we are. And then the final ingredient to make it super fresh are some chives. If you don't have any chives at home, we can also, or what you can do is use some green onions instead. They're like kind of the cheaper option, and you know, they still bring out that same fresh taste. But once again, if you want to go super authentic, Asian chives is what we have in Korea. So I'm just going to take off the little ends here. There we go. And then once again, just small 1-inch size pieces. There we go. And then just add it in right here. Perfect. And after that, you're pretty much done. Just grab a glove, stick it on, and give it a good mix. Okay. So once that's done, you can just set it aside. And in the meantime, we're going to work on our next recipe, which is the oi kimchi, or the cucumber kimchi. All right. And with the oi kimchi, it's practically going to be the same steps, maybe 1 or 2 different things. So same thing as before, you're going to grab your cucumber all washed, cut off the little tips that you're not going to really use. And for the oi kimchi, you can cut it the same way as we did with the carrots. I like them a little longer. So what I do is I cut them in kind of quarter strips, like that, and then make them like 1/3 or 3 inches like long, like that. There you go. Add them to a bowl. And for this recipe, I've used the English cucumbers, which you can commonly find here in supermarkets in Canada. If you want your cucumbers to be a little bit more crunchy, Koreans use something called kaiga cucumbers. So if you want a little bit more crunch, I would suggest finding those cucumbers, but using English cucumbers are totally fine. They might be a little softer, but they'll still taste the same. There we are. And we have our cucumbers. And now, same thing as before, we're going to grab some pickling salt once again. There we are. For the cucumbers though, we're going to add an extra tablespoon just because there's a little bit more water inside of these cucumbers. So there's 2 tablespoons. And we add the sugar a little bit later on. So right now you can mix it up. Make sure it gets all evenly over the cucumbers. Perfect. And then what you want to do is you're just going to wait 10 minutes for the cucumbers. So if you wanted something a little quicker and you have cucumbers, this is the recipe you might want to go for. If you have a little bit more time and have more carrots, go for the carrot recipe. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. So it has been 10 minutes since we've set aside our cucumbers, and like before, you can see the water coming out. There we are. And same thing as before, we're going to drain a little out. All right. And then for this recipe, once again, we're going to use gochugaru, no chili, no paprika, no cheating. Make sure you grab it from a Korean supermarket. And we're also going to add 1/4 cup. Go. And we're going to add a tablespoon of sugar. Perfect. Gonna add 3 cloves of garlic. Dishes like these always remind me of my grandma because she owns a farm back in Korea, or she used to. And she whatever she grew on the farm, she would make a whole bunch of kimchi out of, which includes cucumbers, traditional cabbage kimchi. She made something called 깻잎, which is like perilla leaves. She's like the best cook in the family. There we go. So we've added our garlic. Oh, and once again, we're gonna add some chives. For the kimchi, we actually like to use a lot more chives. So I would say for the chives, you'd use about 1 cup's worth. And then once again, if you don't have chives, no worries, just throw in some spring onions. There we go. Chives. And the only new ingredient that goes in here that doesn't go in the carrot kimchi or the gochugaru kimchi is an onion. So we're just gonna cut this onion. And make it dissolve into the little strips. Perfect. And finally, last but not least, some soy sauce, or the 새우젓 or the fish sauce. And you're just gonna add 2 tablespoons. There you go. Perfect. And then you're going to grab your glove again. Perfect. And you're just gonna mix everything up again. So through this Serve, Preserve, and Serve project, we really wanted to get you guys involved on climate action in your very own kitchens. So by using all of the excess vegetables or kind of the vegetables that are about to, expire, you guys can, reduce waste by preserving the foods and keeping it and making it last longer, while also, having some really delicious side dishes inside your fridge. There we go. So I think we're just about done. And now we're just going to move on to just packing them into different bottles. So this bottle right here, it's from an old pasta sauce bottle. It's another great way to reduce waste. You just have to wash out your bottles after you finish using the pasta sauce inside and then reuse them for occasions like this. And the best thing is you can keep reusing them over and over and over again. All right, so that looks so red and so good. I'm gonna pack some in here. There we are. And the thing with Korean kimchi is that if you want to make it a little bit more sour, you would just leave it out to ferment in room temperature for about a day. You can leave it out up to 3 days, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you like things really, really sour or really, really fermented. So just leave it out for a day and then leave it inside your fridge, and it should last for a couple of months. Just keep watching it, because sometimes, especially if you use your hands to take out some of the kimchi inside, it can get a little contaminated. So I would say just keep an eye on it, but it should last a month in your fridge, if not more. So that's the kimchi right there. And then I'm going to grab our gochugaru. So this is the finished product that we made 5 days ago. So this is when it's quite fermented. And I'm just gonna give a little try and let you guys hear how crunchy it is. Oh, that'd be really good with rice. So this is the end of our Save, Preserve, and Serve series. I just really want to thank the City of Toronto for funding this opportunity, for this community initiative, and I really want to encourage each and every one of you to not only try out this recipe, but to check out all the recipes that we have from the different community leaders. They're all fantastic individuals, and they all show you really delicious recipes to follow. So just check out our playlist down below. And thank you so much for joining in on this episode series. We hope that you all save, preserve, and serve in your very own kitchens. Goodbye.